Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kasmi 107.1 FM and across the world at renews.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. NPP and NDC intensify campaigning 2 weeks ahead of the Kpandai election rerun as new poll gives NPP's Mathew Nyindam a slight lead. Also coming up, Ashanti Regional Police Command announced a major breakthrough in security operations, leading to the arrest of suspected armed robbers. And much later on the program, scores of unposted environmental health officers and assistants take to the street to demand an end to years of unemployment and neglect by authorities. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. A new poll by Global Info Analytics ahead of the Kpandai parliamentary election rerun shows the New Patriotic Party's candidate Mathew Nyindam is holding a slim lead. The survey released today indicates Mr. Nyindam has some 50% voter support, just 4 points ahead of the National Democratic Congress candidate Daniel Wakpal, who polled 46%. An independent candidate, Donkwerik Nipani, is projected to secure 1% of the vote, while 3% of respondents remain undecided. Although the race remains tight, the poll places Mr. Nyindam slightly ahead, with the margin falling within a plus or minus 3.9% margin of error. The survey suggests limited voter movement between the two main contenders, with about 2% of each candidate's supporters switching sides. However, a notable shift was recorded among voters who initially backed the independent candidate, with 22% now supporting Mr. Nyindam. Let's speak to Musa Dankwa, who is with the Global Info Analytics. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. Good afternoon.
Your poll shows the NPP candidate leading by some 4 points, yet within a plus or minus 3.9% margin of error. How should voters and political parties properly interpret this quote-unquote dead heat situation?
Yeah, I think it's basically saying that the race is too close to call. If you apply the margin of error in favor of the NPP candidate, you could be winning with 54%. If you apply that margin to NDC candidate, you could be winning with just 50%. So anybody can win this game.
Anybody can win. What does it say about voter volatility in Kpandai?
Look, if you look at the polling number we just published, it shows that among those who voted in the last election, 50% said they went for Nyindam, 48% voted for the NDC candidate. So if you compare the poll strictly, you could see that the NDC candidate is doing 2 points below what people said they did for him. So he needs to do a lot more in getting his people behind him. What we saw is that the NPP candidate has a solid backing of his people, MPs who are backing him solidly. Whereas in the case of NDC, we can see a bit of fragmentation here and there.
You found something equally interesting, though. 28% defection of voters from Donkwerik to Mathew Nyindam. Based on your own research, are you able to tell us what perhaps influenced this shift?
No, we didn't ask them what has influenced this shift, but you could, guess how he's going to perform. So you try to vote for him and see how he performs. But they've seen that he didn't do very well in the first election. So probably people think that, look, it's not worth voting for him again. And that could benefit the other candidates.
Now, and that's my last question to you, really, despite nearly 30% of voters rating Honorable Nyindam's parliamentary performance as poor, very poor, he still leads the race. How do you explain this? It seems like a disconnect.
No, it tells you that some candidates are stronger than others. And you could see that overall, about 35% or 30% are saying that he's done well, excellent and very good. Those who say average performance is not very bad. So if you look at the averages and what he's doing above average, and that is why he's still competitive. And again, he's been there for some time as a former MP, so he's very solid. He's not just a newcomer, but somebody who has been there before.
Indeed. Should we expect anything to change between now and the next 2 weeks when we're expecting the vote to take place?
Yes, when the campaign heats up, we will expect things to change. And when that happens, we'll be there again to report it to you. Our last poll will be conducted between 27th and 29th. So we'll be able to tell you before the elections who we think is going to carry the day.
Indeed. Mr. Musa Dankwa, thank you so much for speaking to us always.
My pleasure.
And I had the Executive Director of the Global Info Analytics, Musa Dankwa, bringing us some interpretation to the latest poll on the Kpandai parliamentary election rerun. We stay in that area because one person has reportedly died after a swarm of bees attacked a meeting organized by the National Democratic Congress ahead of the Kpandai parliamentary election rerun. The incident occurred on Sunday, that's just yesterday, the 14th of December at Balmari, a hospitality facility in Kpandai. Stanley Niblo brought us this report earlier.
The meeting was attended by the national organizer of the governing National Democratic Congress, Joseph Yamin, Deputy General Secretary Mustafa Gbandi, Deputy National Communications Officer Godwin Akogan, and the Kpandai NDC constituency candidate Daniel Insala-Wakpal. The engagement with the party supporters in the constituency was to resolve a existing feud between the parliamentary candidates Daniel Insala-Wakpal and the constituency party executives. This was aimed at building a formidable front to maximize the candidates' fortunes going to the parliamentary election rerun. The national executives also used the opportunity to lobby their grassroots.
About we about the person expressed MP before in 2024. Even though it was not the right vote. I'm looking at Abdulman.
Support the branch here, we are ready to give you that support. Same are ready to give you the support to win. Sasu and Obi Eyana Green, sorry NPP, Eboko and Dakrana. Obekwa koye NPP Ejuma, Obekwa koye Onike Beatrice Adu, Obekwa koye campaign etiaye. Yesakwa Yesakwa Wanuswa. Asuchi ya obi aso. Yebemo mo answer ye.
However, midway through the mediation processes, a swarm of bees invaded the auditorium and stung participants. The incident disrupted the meeting and abruptly ended it as all participants fled to seek cover. However, this man, who was at the time escaping the attack riding pillion, was stung by the bees to death after the rider allegedly abandoned the motorbike and fled. His remains has been deposited at a morgue at Ketekrachi in the Oti region. Nana Kweku Philip is the Kpandai NDC youth organizer.
Some of them happens to park their motors and cars and other things somewhere opposite where we held the meeting. But we didn't know there was or there is a stand of beans over there. So when they went there to pick their motorbikes and other things, they were sparking the motors, and the smoke and the noise of their machines and other things made the beans to scatter. When they scattered, the people who were still there, they were chasing them. Then Akwasi decided to run to the bush. The beans followed Akwasi to the bush, but then they let Nana Akwasi to the bush. But because the bees were chasing people, no, he tried to come back to the roadside. The way they covered his face and other areas, when he decided to cross the gutter, he fell in the gutter again. When he fell, he managed to get up. he was running. Then they were still chasing him and here and there. So the disturbed him, and finally he fell.
He said although the party is mourning the loss of their comrade, they remain resolute in their determination to win back the seat for the NDC.
Stanley Niblo filed that report. Let's speak to Godwin Akogan, who is Deputy National Communications Officer for the governing National Democratic Congress. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon.
How would you say campaigning is coming along in Kpandai so far?
Yeah, so far so good. We officially entered the constituency yesterday. We had a stakeholders engagement, met our branch executives. And I can tell you that we are ready for the 30th of December elections. And Kpandai is going to turn green.
Kpandai is going to turn green, you say, but the current Global Info Analytics survey doesn't show so. How do you react to it?
We respect every poll that any organization does. And I can tell you that 10 days is enough to turn things around. So once we have entered the constituency, it's up to us to look at the studies that have done, the reports that we are getting, and all that. It's a constituency that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama won 2024. However, the difference between NDC and NPP parliamentarily favored, NPP, based on some of the malpractices that went on. So our issue was, if we had polling agents who could protect the votes of the president, why couldn't we get agents to be so passionately concerned about that of the parliamentary? So for us, there's a lot of things to be done. And if we study the reports too and that of the info analytics, I think that we are well able to turn the tables around.
All right, but before you go, though, if you're able to tell us more about the unfortunate incident that happened just yesterday, the bee attack leading to the death of one person.
First of all, my condolences to the family of the deceased. And I can't say much because, surprisingly, we had finished, we had left, we have crossed Dambai, we were around Pando coming to Accra when we heard of the unfortunate incident. And I'm not well placed to speak to it because I wasn't there. It happened way after the program. So, but it's very unfortunate. And again, my condolences to the family.
Mr. Akogan, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
And he had there Godwin Akogan, his Deputy National Communications Officer for the governing National Democratic Congress. Now, scores of unposted environmental health officers and assistants have today taken to the streets of demonstration, demanding an end to years of unemployment and neglect, despite being trained and duly licensed to protect public health. Marching from Independence Square, the officers said that, and actually also calling for the immediate posting and employment, formal recognition of their profession and the absorption of trained graduates from the School of Hygiene. And we do have my colleague Noble Korsbianen who will be joining us very shortly to bring us some updates from there. Someone is here, and the West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS on Sunday threatened targeted sanctions on anyone obstructing Guinea-Bissau's return to civilian rule following last month's coup. The announcement came as presidents from across the region met in Nigeria for a biannual meeting whose agenda was dominated by two recent coup attempts, a successful military takeover in Guinea-Bissau and a failed push in Benin. President of the ECOWAS Commission, Omar Ture, speaking to the media after the heads of state meeting, said the Commission will be ruthless.
For now we have 2 countries that are under military rules, which are members of ECOWAS, the Republic of Guinea and the Republic of Guinea-Bissau. For the Republic of Guinea, we are expecting a good elections, or at least elections on 28th of this month, and we hope that will put an end to the transition that they have been in for the past 4 years. For the Republic of Guinea-Bissau, ECOWAS renews its total rejection of unconstitutional change of government and calls for an inclusive government that will reflect the political landscape as well as the society of Guinea-Bissau. And that is a point which is extremely important, because you have some political actors who are out of the game, and ECOWAS insists that each and everyone be given the right to participate in the process of restoring the country to constitutional order. And regarding the fine balance between sanctions and the interests of the common person, ECOWAS is fully alert to this. And as I've said, the sanctions they are talking about are supposed to be targeted sanctions, but that's also conditional in the event the engagement fails or the dialogue fails. So it is going to be smart and targeted sanctions that they are envisaging.
And you're still here on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Stay with us.
Accra, Ghana, Africa, and worldwide. Join us.
92.7 3FM. 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 7 3FM. 92.7 3FM. 92.7 3FM. 92.7.
And you're still here on the Midday News on 3FM and 92.7. Now, the Ashanti Regional Police Command says it has made major breakthroughs in recent security operations, leading to the arrest of suspected armed robbers linked to the robbery and murder of 28-year-old Silva Ngozi at Asokore Mampong. The police also arrested 3 other suspects believed to be behind a series of armed robberies across parts of Kumasi. Briefing the media, the Ashanti Regional Police Commander, DCOP Arthur Sakoto, said the command remains resolute in its crackdown on criminal activities to ensure the safety and security of residents. Ibrahim Abubakar is my colleague in the Ashanti region. He was part of that press briefing. He joins us live now. Ibrahim, if you can tell us more as regards the details the police released about the suspects arrested.
Well, so this, according to the police, is an intelligence-led operation. So somewhere last week, they had a tip of that the people they have been searching for the past 3 weeks are hiding somewhere around Asokore Mampong. And these are individuals who have been suspected to be involved in a robbery and murder case of a woman at Asokore Mampong. So they went to their hideout and arrested them and were able to retrieve some items belonging to the deceased and other mobile phones. And when they brought them, they indeed confessed to committing the crime. So for now, they are in the custody of the police, and tomorrow the police will be processing them to court. And aside these 2 individuals, there were 3 others who were also arrested for committing robbery cases around Kumasi, that's around Czech, UDRC, and other areas. And they are suspected to have committed a number or a series of robbery cases. And they were also arrested at their hideout in Abuabo. And the police was able to retrieve about 60 mobile phones, laptops, and other belongings of some individuals. So for now, the police is urging the public who have fallen victims of these individuals to come forward and assist them with investigation. Let's listen to what the Ashanti Regional Police Commander, DCOP Atu Sakoto, has been telling the media.
Preliminary investigations indicate that the suspects robbed the deceased, during which one of them allegedly stabbed her with a knife, resulting in her death. A search conducted in the room of Farouk Idris led to the retrieval of a machete, knives, and other offensive weapons. During interrogation, the suspects admitted to committing the robbery. In a related development, further intelligence-led operations led to the arrest of 3 suspects involved in series of street robberies within Asokore Mampong, KNUST, Kenyase, Bosore, Duase, Antoa, Mayanka, Ayeduase, and surrounding areas. Items retrieved from their hideouts at Abuabo include 59 iPhones, 6 Android phones, 4 tablets, 5 laptops. The command is appealing to members of the public who may have fallen victims to these criminals within the affected areas to report to the Ashanti Regional Police Command to assist with investigations. All suspects will be put before court in due course to face full rigors of the law. The Ghana Police Service assures the general public of its continued commitment to maintaining peace, law, and order in the Ashanti region.
And you heard the DCOP Arthur Sakoto, he's the Ashanti Regional Police Command, and we still have Ibrahim Abubakar with us. And Ibrahim, this time around, we know that the Department of Urban Roads in the Ashanti region has announced the commencement of emergency repair works on the Kasi Timber Bridge, a key route connecting several industrial and residential communities in Kumasi. If you can tell us more about how critical this very stretch is. We lost Ibrahim Abubakar on the line, but of course we'll bring you some more in our subsequent bulletins. Now, I did tell you about scores of unposted environmental health officers and assistants who have taken to the street demonstrating today. Well, I understand that we've lost Crosby Annan as well on the line. Stay with us. Bring in some of the protesters who actually eventually went to petition against their the fact that they've not been posted after finishing training.
Government to act, Ministry of Finance, do something now. Stop pretending. Stop saying that you're not aware. We are giving you a letter. Say the purpose. Say the purpose. Your purpose of coming to the city. Your purpose of being on the seat. We want to see the action now. We are not even we are less than 3,000. 600. We are not 3,000. What is our time? Are we not Ghanaians?
I like unemployed graduates in the house renewing your people. Every year you have to renew your people. Who does that? Unemployed. We are tired living in the house. In fact, our parents are not something meaningful in the future. We are going in the house. Are we not going to have family? Are we not going to get birth and look at Ghana? If we are sitting in the house, who does that? We need sanitation officers. They are few on the field. We need our posting. We need our posting. How long can we stay in the house? We are pleading with the government to look at our graveyards and listen to us. We are pleading with the government. Listen to us and force us now. What do you say?
I think that this is the time that they have to put sanitation as important in the development of Ghana and public health. So environmental health is seen as the heart of the public health. Without sanitation, I would think that Ghana we cannot go anywhere.
And it had there some environmental health officers and assistants who have hit the street today demanding that the government post them after years of finishing their training. Some more here, and the Paramount Chief of Achim Ebuakwa Osajifo Mathew for repenning has called on the government to increase investment in health infrastructure, particularly in rural and deprived communities. The Ochehene says that improved health or facilities and working conditions will help retain health professionals and reduce the migration of nurses and midwives out of the country. He made the call at the 6th annual Ndina event organized by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association.
For a child to die of malaria in a remote area, it doesn't make sense for a woman who's going to have a baby has to walk 16 miles to the nearest hospital. It does not make sense, humanly possible. Not what we know, not what we have. So my plea tonight is to applaud you for what you've been able to accomplish. But my plea to us, to those of us in leadership, to governments who have to build infrastructure, is to try and spread and widen the circle of opportunity that everybody in this country, based on merit, can achieve their goals. A great nation. We need to build our country, build infrastructure in the health system. The same people here are the ones who go somewhere else and become best nurses and best doctors.
And you heard that the Paramount Chief of Achim Ebuakwa Osajifo Mathew for repenning. That's it for the Bender News here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us today. Have a good afternoon.